All right, you guys, welcome to our Flex Force call. It is December 17th, about a week until Christmas, which is insane. But that means it is time to be making conversations. It is time to be making those connections because January 1st is right around the corner when people start, ending up coming to you a little bit more often. So let me pull up some announcements. All right. So we've got a few names on the board today. Of course, Rachel killing it, and then Alyssa and Cynthia hitting a Success Club already for the month. But you guys, there's still like almost 2 weeks left in this month for you to kill it. So get out there and get in those conversations and make it happen this month. Only 6 new coaches recruited this week, which is the lowest we've had in quite a long time on this team. And like I said before, people are deciding right now who they want to work with come January 1st. So make sure that your face is the one that's showing up in their newsfeed constantly, consistently, making an example so that they want to reach out to work with you. And make sure to check the Flex Force fam and VIP team pages for the team call dates for the holidays, just because things are going to switch around a little bit next week. It won't be Monday night because that is Christmas Eve. So go and check the team page for info on that. End of year, you have to be Diamond to qualify for the Diamond Retreat in April, which will be in the Outer Banks in South Carolina. And then the team-wide 3-day refresh, you need to get in your orders by December 28th to make sure you get it in time. So jump on that if you are participating with everyone else. And as of right now, current standings, Flex is number 38 in the network, which is awesome. Summit, again, July 11th to 14th. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, do it. This is the final month to qualify for that $200 cash bonus. If you've been hitting Success Club the last 2 months, make sure you hit it this month so you don't lose out on $200. Rachel Hollis will be the keynote speaker, the author of Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. We're going in as an elite team, which is incredible. So we'll be treated a little differently, have a little bit more perks. And this year, if you've been to Summit before, it's always been you got to choose your tracks. But this year, they're going to be based on where you are in your business so that it can help you grow to the next level, which is really cool that they did it that way. I think it's really smart. And as of right now, this is everyone we have in the Flex Summit group on Facebook. So if you're going and not on this list, make sure you find that group or reach out to your coach so you can get added to that group for announcements as we go. And you guys, I do have a house rented too if you don't have a place to stay yet. It's about $200 for the week per person, and that's for the whole week. And it's like a 10-minute walk to all the things if you need a place to stay. So let's just get right into the thick of things. We have Miss Rachel, is it Bodie? Am I saying it right? Yes, cool. So she is a mom of 2 gorgeous little girls and has been married for 10 years and worked as a leadership consultant directly for John Maxwell for over a decade. And you guys know Rachel works with Josh Coates. He is John Maxwell trained, so it's that same kind of leadership training. She's been a coach since 2016, is the leader of Free Indeed, went from Diamond to 5-star Elite in 2017. That is huge. Is currently sitting at 6-star, is an Elite qualifier for 2019, and is an SC10 All-Star legend. So Rachel, I will let you jump on in and give us all the knowledge you have for us.
Let me unmute myself first. There we go. I've done this before, so I promise. Well, thank you for that introduction. It's fun to go on different team calls and see how everyone does their announcements. And like some people use PowerPoint, some don't. So that's like the highlight for me, is just kind of seeing how you guys do your shout outs, and congrats to your team. That's amazing. You have an awesome leader. I know you guys know that, but she really, I actually messaged her a couple of weeks ago because she was sharing her whole process of leader development. And I told her, girlfriend, you are incredible. It's one thing to understand the principles of leadership and influence. And I come from more of a business background. It's another thing to be able to help people to apply those things. So Rachel definitely does an awesome job of that. So you guys, she wanted me to come on today and share with you about the inviting process and how essentially to recruit, how to invite. And so let's see, before we dive in, I wasn't even really going to do this, but I want to give you a little bit of context because I think it's helpful to understand kind of where I came from and how I came into the business, because that has really created my whole, or influenced my process, how I invite. So when I came into this, I actually found my coach on Instagram. I wasn't really looking to do, I was anti-MLM, okay? Like network marketing, I thought was slimy and sleazy. I go to these events with John because I worked on the corporate side and I developed leadership programs for Fortune 500s. And so we go to these events and these people would try and recruit me. I mean, like hard, full court press. And I'm like, leave me alone. Like, get me away from these people. So I started following this gal on Instagram just for fitness inspiration. I found her through a hashtag, Janelle Summers. I don't know if you guys know who Janelle is, but she's the Superstar 2, Superstar 3, right? She's got a lot of diamonds is what it comes down to. And she's a rock star. And so I came into the business as a coach. And so she's our great. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's hilarious. I won't tell her that because when you're a little older, you kind of take offense to the great grandma thing. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, she's incredible. But that's how I came in. I came in as a business building coach. And so that's kind of how I approach inviting. Now, not to say I don't invite to challenge groups, because I do that too. However, I feel really strongly about inviting straight to the business. So that is a big part of what I do. So with that in mind, I want to share a few principles and then we'll get into some like practical application. So the first thing I want to share is the mindset piece. I think, like most things in life, it all starts with your thoughts, right? Because thoughts become things and your beliefs are going to drive your behaviors. So if you are having a block, if you're not reaching the goals you want to reach, you got to back it on up. You got to look, okay, what are the actions that are not getting me to the goal? And then what's the belief that's driving the action? Y'all, you literally can change your life if you change a limiting or false belief. It can change everything. And so I want to start with mindset because I believe it is everything. Because if you get that right, the rest is going to fall in place. So here's what I want you to understand and to kind of just think through this with me. The best coaches in her entire network, Melanie Mitchell, Amy Silverman, I don't even know all the top 10, Emily and Holly Hilliard and Ashley Smith. You guys, the best of the best of the best. They hear no 95% of the time. So you need to think about that for a second, because I think sometimes we get really nervous, like, oh, I don't want to ask because I'm going to get ghosted or going to hear no. What are they going to think? Y'all, you have to go for no. Like, go for no. And get into the habit of being, this sounds so weird, but almost happy when someone says, not this month, or no thank you, because what that means is they go in your pipeline, you continue to add value, whether it's a freemium. You don't have to create those, by the way. They have all kinds of websites out there that you can outsource things for $20, have someone create a freemium, you put your logo on it. Totally get it, girl. Timing is everything. Hey, would it be helpful if I sent you a meal prep guide? And they're kind of like, oh, I thought, normally when someone says, when I say no, they're on to the next person. So that's another little side thing, is that when you're inviting, do the unexpected and show up and add value in a way that people are like, huh, she's different. Because that is, you are going to be the person when they're ready that they're going to go to. I can guarantee you that your coaches and your challengers signed up at a time that was good for them. It had nothing to do with that. If you were desperate for Success Club points, or you really needed that last coach, it doesn't matter. It's about timing for them. So you have to, I just realized I'm looking over here instead of here. So you guys, because I'm looking at your faces, I can't really, it's hard for me to not see you guys when I'm talking. So I'm glad I have this little thing. If you're wondering where I'm looking, I want to make sure that what I'm saying is resonating. So what was I going with that? So mindset. So anyway, backing up. So the best coaches in the world, the best coaches in the network are hearing no a ton of times. So I want you all to be thinking as you're going through your invites to know you're going to hear the no. And then when you hear that no, almost like inside you should be like, yes, because that means I'm closer to a yes with that person. Because when they're ready, you are going to be the person they come to if you're the one who's showing up adding value. This is why I think systems are so important. I've learned the hard way that you need to have systems. I'm very systematic, but I started with TeamZ, or I started with Google Sheets, and then I went to TeamZ, and now I use Streak, which I wish I would have used the whole time. But that way you can batch follow up and you can do things very efficiently, because probably most of you have other things outside of Beachbody. Or is anyone a full-time coach, or most of you part-time coaches, and you have moms or businesses or other things, or are you guys full-time coaches? Just chat in so I know kind of who I'm talking to. And even if you are a full-time coach, part-timer, okay, full-time, oh, but there's some full-time people. I mean, you know, for the full-time coaches, we're still busy, right? Somehow we find things to do to fill our day. So good. So whether you're a part-time or full-time, I think it's important to begin as you mean to go and create a system for your follow-ups in the process. So getting back to this mindset piece, and stay-at-home mom is the hardest job. So that is like practically you're working 24/7. It's really important for you all to just continue to have this mindset as you're going into your invites, and know that, sister, you're going to hear no, you're going to get ghosted, and it's okay. The best of the best, we hear it too. And the sooner you can get comfortable with it and exercise that muscle where you start to feel like you're doing so many invites, you have so many things out there that you've completely disconnected from the outcome. So if someone says something mean, that's on them, not you, you guys. That's not a reflection of you. That has something. You have to consider the source. If someone is going to spew venom, like out of nowhere, they've been burned, they're having issues, who knows what's going on in their life, and just flock and bless and release and move on. It has nothing to do with you. So don't take those things personally. They're not yours to take, okay? And I know that's hard. The Gifts of Perfection by Brené Brown is amazing, really, really good for people like us who are in the public eye and we're having to share all of our stuff. And sometimes people it doesn't happen to me very often, but every so often someone will say something that's like less than kind. And, that's hard not to take that personally, but you really have to just focus on the people that you want to bless and serve. Okay. So that's the mindset piece. The second piece to that is focus on the controllables. Okay. You cannot focus on the people who say no. You can't focus on the people who aren't ready. You can't focus on the graphics or all these things that are not really even things that are important. So focus on the controllables and focus on those. I know you guys talk about IPAs, right? On this team, income producing activities. You talk about that? Yeah. Okay. That's what you want to focus on, right? Especially right now. I love what Micah talked about in the National Wake Up Call. Now is the time to be so disciplined. And you didn't introduce, it's not Rachel. It's you didn't introduce yourself in the pink. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Gina, okay. So Gina talked about in the beginning, and she's spot on. Like, here's the thing, you guys. Right now, people are planting the seeds, and they're going to be able to sow and reap in January and February. And if you're not planting those seeds, guess what? I'm going to be sowing and reaping, and so is whoever else is out there building a relationship. So do not take your foot off the gas right now. Don't do it. Capitalize when everybody else is chilling out. Because I'm telling you, what you do right now is going to pay. Like, just trust me. Last year is when I quit my job last December. I was about to have a nervous breakdown, trying to work, have my kids, hit 5-star elite. I was like, it was craziness. But I'm like, I knew if I sprinted through the finish line, I'd have a solid start. And I just want to encourage you to do the same, because the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. Okay? So when you're inviting, you're planting seeds, and sometimes those seeds are going to bear fruit quickly. Other times it's going to take a really long time. So you need to be thinking like, okay, most of the time there's going to be a lag. Not all the time, but most of the time there'll be a 30, 60, 90-day lag from the time you invite to the time someone says yes. But not always, because there's millions upon billions. I don't know what the exact number is. There's billions of people on the planet. There are people out there. There's a woman or women. There are women out there right now who need a solution or are looking for a solution. And we have to find those women. They want to start right now, right this second. Like they want to get a jump start before the holiday. You guys, they're out there. You have to find those women. So how are you going to find them? Connect, invite, follow up, rinse and repeat, and add value somewhere in there, or all throughout the process, add value. Hey, can I send you a meal plan? Hey, this is my favorite crock pot recipe. Hey, would a meal prep guide be helpful? Hey, we've got a free workout. You could do it on the road. You don't need any equipment. Do you want to do? I can send it over to you. You could do it on Christmas break. Adding value constantly. And they look at you as this resource. So when it's finally time, they're like, okay, I'm going to go to Rachel or Gina or Cynthia or Christina or whoever is showing up and adding value. And you're showing up and you're sharing your journey too, right? So they know you're not like Miss Perfect and that you like went off the rails and ate like nachos and wine or whatever you're thinking. They want to know you're like a real person. So you're showing up and sharing your story and all those things. So you want to focus on the controllables. So all the vitals, right? You need to be the product of the product. Got to be doing your PD. Invite, connect, follow up. I talked a little bit about the lag. I mean, it really is the slight edge or the compound effect. Just such a great book. That's one of the books I have all my coaches read, The Slight Edge. I prefer it to The Compound Effect. But it's those things that are easy to do and easy not to do. So let me give you an example of one of those things. And this ties into inviting. For me, let me look and see the chat here. Okay. For me, one of the things that was really transformational in my business is when I realized I was not doing enough business invites. Back when I first started coaching, I was doing uber relational invites, okay? I was probably doing, not probably, I know exactly. I was doing 30 invites a week. That's how I went from diamond to 5-star elite. Only doing 30 invites a week. 7 of those invites were business invites. The rest were challenge group. I spent a lot of time developing relationships. But looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have just 10x that, I wouldn't have had to kill myself. I probably would have been a lot further along. But that wasn't really on my team. That was kind of the culture. You didn't do then I met, Kate Schultes and all these people who were doing like these crazy amounts of invites. I'm like, okay, I can level up a little bit and increase my invites. So I did. So back then I was doing those 30 invites. That's about 120, 130 a month. And I was averaging about Success Club 20, about 5 new coaches every month. Well, now I do probably about 250 to 300 challenge group invites a week. And I do 25 business invites every week, 5 a day, Monday through Friday. And I average usually around Success Club 40 and 10 to 15 coaches every month. And that's where my focus. I want to build leaders. That's what I want to do. Of course I'd love, higher Success Club numbers, but I don't want that to overshadow the time that I want to invest with my leaders. So you can see the difference, right? With the number of invites, and it has a direct correlation to the results that I'm given, or the results that I'm getting. I wish I was given them, that I'm getting. So going back to these things, to something that is easy to do, that's a slight edge type thing. Your 5 business invites. Y'all, how many business, I want to know. How many business invites are you doing a week? And chat in, or I'll feel free to call in people. Because there's no judgment here. I really am curious because it's such an opportunity. I know it's really scary. Yes, exactly. I'm glad you asked me that, Cynthia. Thank you. Maybe 10, probably less. Okay. Business invite is inviting someone to either a glimpse into coaching, or inviting them straight to the business. Like, oh my gosh, you'd be incredible as a coach. Have you ever considered it? Struggle with that. Okay. Attach a business possibility to every invite. Ooh, I like that. I'd like to know how you're 15 and 20. Oh, okay. So it's all over the board. Okay. That's good, you guys. That's good. I appreciate your honesty too, because that's the only way you grow, right? So let me tell you how this evolved for me for the 5 invites. I was on a call with Ali Tessatori, who went superstar this year, and she was talking about something that revolutionized her business last year. And it was this practice of 5 business invites a day. And I'm like, that's an awesome idea. I need to do that. So every morning, wow, that's awesome. Every invite. Struggle with inviting. Okay, I want to talk to that in a second too. Oh, to the biz. Okay. So here's a great way to do it. Rip the Band-Aid off, sister. I'm going to give you guys an invite to use. You can use it or not. You can tweak it or whatever you want to do. But what I would say is do this in the morning, first thing. This is a slight edge behavior. That means this is really easy to do, or it's easy to do 100 other things that are not important instead of doing this. So have all your things, wherever your little office area is, or if you have an office, have your list, have everything ready where you need it. So when you wake up in the morning, you're ready to rock. Like after your workout or after your quiet time or whatever it is that's your morning process, you have your list and you go into your stories, your Instagram stories. You look at who's watching your stories and you invite from that list. You go into your last, I don't know what you guys call it, lead generator or call to action or a post that has like a strong call to action. You go into that and you invite people who have commented or liked that post. You go into your followers. You look through that list and you find your avatar and you invite those people, you guys, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I mean, it literally can be, hey, Sarah, thanks so much for following my journey here. Or thanks so much for the like on my post. It means so much to me. Hey, I just totally got sucked into your page. I love what you're putting out there. Have you ever considered doing what I do as a wellness influencer, as a coach, as an influencer, whatever you guys want to call it? I'm hosting an event next week. I'd love to pop you in. Either way, I love being friends with you and being connected here. That's it. That's it, you guys. Save it as a snippet. Do you guys know how to do quick replies in Instagram? I'm sure you guys do, right? Everyone knows how to use that? The 3 little dots at the bottom, you can type in. Okay. If you don't know how to do that, then ask someone. I'm about as technologically unsavvy as they come, so don't be afraid to ask any questions. I'm happy to share. But basically, the 3 dots you plug in, you can do like a quick stroke. So let's say it's, I have it as, I don't even know, BIA, Biz Invite A. So I have BIA, BIB, I have all the different. And so I look for those people. I do plug their name in, so it's not a hey girl. And I invite them. And sometimes I'll look at their, I'll go and comment on a few pictures, comment on a story, but it's really that simple. And you'd be shocked how many people say, yeah, you can pop me in. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's just like, oh, if you don't make a huge thing about it and it's just like, hey, do you want me to pop you in? Sure. And then what do? I get their email first. I plug them in the streak, so I have another way to reach them. I have another way to do follow-ups. Then I email them with a link to my glimpse group and pop them in. I have probably about, 15 or 20 people that are in that today. I just kicked it off today. I did a poll option on my Instagram stories too. That's another easy way to do a call to action. But I think the thing that I really want to get across here is it's the getting uncomfortable. And it's the growth that happens when you're doing things that are outside your comfort zone, because that is growth. If you're not growing, you're not changing. If you're not changing, you're never going to reach those goals that make you want to puke. Stephen Covey calls it BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. I know Josh is also my business coach. He calls it a puke goal. Whatever it is, it's something that really makes you nervous. And you're going to have to get uncomfortable. So how would you explain what we do when they ask? Well, there's a lot of ways that you could approach that. I like to just pop them straight into the glimpse group and say, gosh, I'm going to be covering all that on the first day. But basically, I use my mission statement. I want to help women build the bodies of their dreams and help them to build a business that will bring them home. Or we help women all over. I say women, that's my thing. I just prefer not to work with men in general, just because I've had some weird experiences. So that's just, you need to have something very quick. And I would say for me personally, I like to do something a little bit more general, because I know for me that I can do a better job influencing when I'm on video and they can see me and hear my intonation and see my passion than me giving them a blurb. You know what I mean? So I prefer that they watch me either I had a little, a 25-minute session I did at Leadership this year with another coach. We did a little mini glimpse But the one that I do now is a 4-day glimpse, and Ashley Laughlin and Holly Hillier and I have like a similar format, because they were gracious enough to kind of share their format with me, and they're incredible leaders. So I use that format now. I run sneak peeks. They're 4-day sneak peeks, and I typically run them twice a month. Last year I ran them every single week, which was like crazy. But you want to know what? When you do something that much, it's like it's like working out. And now I can get on and tell my story and share about my income progression and talk about the objections. And I could do all that stuff with my eyes closed because I did it so many times. And so, yeah, it's great. That repetition is the mother of skill. And I typically run them by myself, the control freak in me. However, I sometimes invite other coaches in. I just have a lot of people in there, so I want to make sure that they're getting the message that I feel really comfortable and confident in. Let's see. If you don't have a ton of income progression, how would you go about explaining that and talking about it? Leverage other people on your team. But I would recommend that before you start pointing to other people, you do a really good job investigating and asking questions. Here's the thing, you guys. You have to put yourself in that person's shoes when you're inviting. Think about, how would you want someone to approach you? What questions would you want them to ask? It's not just about like popping them in the group. Tell me a little bit about like, what are you doing now work-wise? Are you most interested in something part-time or potentially replacing your full-time income? Ask some questions so they know that you care. Now, they may not answer them, and that's cool, but I don't know, at least half the time they do. And then okay, cool. Like, she wants to potentially be full-time, and I know that she's working as a nurse right now. Ding, ding, ding. That's one of my avatar. So you have an idea. And then even maybe go to their page. Hey, I saw that you've got 2 kids. Ask a question. Is this something that, you want to be able to spend more time with your kids, or something that's going to connect maybe to a pain point that you've had, right? Let's see. And then point to other people's income progressions. I didn't have an income progression. Share your story, and then bring in credible people. Like, hey, here's my girl Kelsey, and here's my teammate Janelle, and to share like, wow, look what they've done. And I'm on track to do the same thing. Let me just mention that. I use that line many, many times in my income progression. So I talk about, my first year I was doing about $1,000 a month. And then by year 2, I was moving in more towards, $4,000 to $5,000 a month. And I was tracking for what some of my colleagues, my teammates were doing, and they were doing X, Y, and Z. So you're drawing a comparison that basically you're tracking to do the same. Does that help? Hopefully that helps. Okay, sorry, I just started answering questions because it's my favorite thing to do, and I got like sidetracked. Okay, so the 5 business invites is about eating your frog. Eating your frog. Eat That Frog, or Eat Your Frog, is by Brian Tracy. And it is a book that is based on a quote by Mark Twain. And he says that if you eat a live frog first thing in the morning, it's the worst thing you'll do all day. And the whole premise is, whatever your thing is that you like really don't want to do in the business, like, what is the thing you really don't want to do? Which vital is it? There's one. And for most coaches, it's inviting, not for everybody. And if that's your thing, then that is the thing that needs to go to the top of the list, because y'all, if you're not inviting, you don't have a business. You don't have a business. And so my advice, generally speaking, is if you're not hitting your goals, you need to increase your activity in order to hit your goals. If you continue to increase your activity and you're still not hitting your goals, you need to sit down with your leader and talk about your goals, and then talk about the methods you're using to get there, and investigate that. But most of the time, it's just like, coach is like, oh, I'm not hitting this, that, and there. Well, how many invites are you doing? Do you have enough activity at the top of your funnel? Because as you invite people and as you connect, they're going to funnel down into a smaller group. And so if you want a larger group at the bottom, you need to have larger number of invites at the top. Let's see, building relationship after the initial invite. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. So getting back to my invites, I mentioned that I do about 300 challenge group invites a week. Those, I'd say 250-ish of those are just like invite straight out. Like, hey, thanks for following my journey. Just want to let you know, I've got this group going on, my Transform Your Life Bootcamp. and I invite. And then as I'm going through messaging and I'm on Insta stories and I'm just leaving drops of sunshine, you know, just connecting with people and I'm not inviting, I'm just trying to draw certain people back to my page by connecting, right? Commenting on their stories, asking questions, just showing up and adding value and not inviting. That's really, really important. If you guys aren't doing that for like 15 minutes a day, it's so easy too. Make sure you set a timer because you can get sucked in. Next thing you know, you've been like in the vortex for an hour. But as I'm doing that, I will organically invite. But the majority of what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get as many seeds planted and then doing some relational kind of tilling the soil at the same time. And the same thing goes for business invites. Those 5 business invites are, hey girl, thank you so much for the love on my transformation pick. I just totally, and then I go into the business invite. And I'll just say whatever I think. Your page is amazing. Like, you are incredible. You'd be so awesome as an influencer. Does any part of what I do interest you? That's another good question. Does any part of what I do interest you? I love that question. And have you ever considered doing what I do as an influencer? Again, curiosity questions. They're like, well, I don't know what you do, but you look like you have fun. You get to go on trips, you're dressed up, you work out, and then maybe there's a part of what you do and it opens it up to where maybe there's one little piece of what you do. They say, yeah, I'm interested. I want to travel more. I want flexibility. So the questions you ask and the semantics, the words make a big difference. So if you find a question that works, those 2 questions I just gave you are like that's like my secret sauce questions. They just work really well. It just feels very like non in your face, or I feel like they do anyway, and I get a really good response. Let's see. Certain time frame when you start engaging when you invite them. I hate saying that it depends, but it does. I mean, sometimes it does. If I see someone's posting a lot of like fitness stuff, or I get the sense that well, that's not true. It depends on where I'm at in my business, and it depends on so many factors. I can't really say. Well, let me just back it up because I want to try and make this as tangible as I can for you. Most of the time, the majority of those invites that are going out, the challenge group ones anyway, are just going straight out. But they're not really cold because it's someone who's engaged with my page in some way. So they've watched my stories, they follow me, they've liked on something. You see what I'm saying? So they've already engaged with me in some way, and now I'm following up with an invite. Same thing with a business invite. So I'm planting the seed and then going back and connecting. So it kind of goes both ways. You can connect and then invite, or you can invite and connect. But the important thing is you're doing all 3. I think it's less important about what order you do them in, for me personally. And here's the thing, you guys. I'm sharing with you a way to invite. This is not the way. It's not the Holy Grail, because you have to figure out what works for you. And everyone has a different way that they do it. And so I really would encourage you to try different things and figure out what your sweet spot is in order to hit the goal that you want, in order to reach the long-term goal you want to get to. And you may just say, oh, I just want to do as many as possible. Well, yeah, but you have to also like keep in mind you don't want to like go insane in the process, right? So you want to kind of think like, okay, how many, you should know. I mean, I know if I do about 100 invites, I usually get 3 yeses. So that's like SC6. So if I want to get to SC 40 or 50, then how many invites do I need to do? 400 or 500 invites. So you see what I'm saying? Then you know, and you're not just kind of out there like throwing spaghetti on the wall, but you really have an idea of like, okay, if I do X, then here's the result. Okay, so what else on that? So eat your frog. So my advice is find your thing. When it comes to inviting, if it's business invites, if it's just regular invites, and do that thing first. Do that thing first and knock it off your list and get really, really good at doing the things that scare you. Because the quicker you can do those things, they won't be scary anymore. And then you're on to the next thing. And each level will have things that are scarier and scarier. I mean, it's just the nature of growing. But it's all good because you continue to rise to the occasion. But the only way you can do that, you guys, is if you feel the fear, you feel it, you do it anyway. That's what it means to be a courageous leader. And you all are leaders. You're influencing people. Leadership is influence. That's it. Doesn't mean you have to be the CEO or have this huge team. Every single one of you on this call is a leader. You're leading each other. You're leading your challengers. You're leading your peers. You're leading your family. I mean, everywhere you go, you're influencing people. So to be a courageous leader or courageous coach in this business, you got to continue to feel those scary feelings and just say, oh, I'm just going to do it. And then it feels really good because you're like, yes, I just did that. And it just gets easier and easier. Let's see, when do you start tracking them once the invite is sent? Let's see, when do I start tracking? I do not track. I do so many invites. I don't track until they come back to me. I mean, I would be tracking like 24/7. I do way too many invites. So when someone comes back to me and says, I'm interested, the first thing I do is get an email. You guys, what if Facebook shut you down? What if your Instagram account disappeared tomorrow? Do you have a list of all your clients? Because I would suggest that, because it could happen. In fact, it has happened to some coaches. So I went to an event with Shalene it was last year, geez. And that was one of the things she talked about is the email list. And I had started one, just kind of like constant contact, just to have a list. You don't have to have you just have it, Excel, whatever. You don't have to do anything fancy or Google Streak, but you want that list. Not only that, but then you can send a newsletter out to those people. You can message them when Transform 20 is coming out. You have a list of all these people you can message. So that's important too. Okay, let's see. How are we doing on time? All right, so this one last thing I want to leave you guys with. I think this is the last thing. Let me just make sure. Yes. Okay, I gave you most of these other things. All right, so the last thing is this. And this kind of circles back to mindset, because I really do think, like, if you can get this right, you just get it all right. And that is act as if you are an elite coach, or whatever your goal is, act as if. And here's how you do that. You have the confidence and you like step in, like pretend like you're stepping in, you're sitting in Rachel's seat, like literally Gina is, or she is Rachel on the call, but pretend like that's real life. Like, what would it be? Like, how would Melanie Mitro invite to something? She wouldn't be like scared, and she'd be like, I'm Melanie Mitro, I'm gonna freaking invite you and you should sign up because I'm incredible. Like, you guys need to like own your awesomeness. Be confident. What we have to offer is life-changing. You guys, I was stressed out. I was like ready to lose my mind at this crazy corporate job, and I thought I was stuck. I didn't know, how am I ever gonna earn 6 figures doing like being at home with my kids? Like, I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And this business was a gift. And in some way, I don't know which ways, it's different for each person, but how has it impacted you? How has it changed your life emotionally, spiritually, financially, relationally? Think about all the ways and start to share that. And you don't have to be like, oh, coaching's changed my life. You could share a story about, oh my gosh, I'm able to go, I'm going to visit my girlfriend next in a few weeks, and we're going to do this workout. It's a meetup. It's going to be so much fun. I get to bring my daughter to meet her, and this is someone I met in this community. I could have never thought I'd be blessed with such incredible friends who love fitness, and they're moms, and they're into the same thing. Or you're just sharing like parts of you and how you have been impacted. But you have to have that mindset. When I first signed up as a coach, this sounds so weird, but I really believe that I will be a 15-star diamond. I really believe it. And I have, from the minute I signed up. Now, I have many moments where I'm like, I'm terrible at this. I suck. I am not a good leader. All the things. You know how we all have those moments, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Is this is this a pyramid scheme? I mean, you guys, I've had crazy thoughts. And you know what I do when I have those thoughts? I go and I look up the answers. So for example, the pyramid scheme thing. That was one thing I thought, is this legit? I don't know. People are asking me all these questions. Go look it up. That's going to help you to not have doubt, and it's going to give you authority so you can speak from a place of confidence that, no, actually the FTC, that's illegal. Here's how it works. Here's why we're not that. Hey, we're A+ rating in the Better Business Bureau, and we've been in business for 20 years, and it's incredible. And you're able to speak with authority and confidence. So I would encourage you to be able to think through, what are the things, the thoughts that you're thinking right now that is holding you back Do you feel like you should be further along? Do you feel like you're not a good leader? Do you feel like you may never get there? I don't know what your things are. But if you can identify what those things are and then think how you, when you're an elite coach or when you are whatever your goals are, I don't know what everyone's goals are, how would you act? What would you think? And then start acting that way. And I know it sounds so simple, but trust me because I did that. And I visualized every single day myself walking across the stage. And that's powerful too, the visualization. That's another thing. If you're not doing, I know that's like kind of hokey sounding. I was never really into that. John was really into visualization. I kind of used to tease him about it. And then I started doing this. I'm like, okay, I'm willing to give it a shot because I feel like some days it's just too hard. And so just picturing yourself every day, walking across the stage, quitting the job, boarding the plane with your kids to go on the vacation, walking into the store to buy whatever, the car, the purse, whatever it is. Envision it, you guys, because when it gets tough, when you have that vision to hang on to, you are gonna you're ready to run through a brick wall. Like I am telling you, I worked every day for 2 years, every day. My birthday, Christmas, we went to Walt Disney World. I got up at 4:30. I worked before we went to the parks. I worked every single day because I was willing to do whatever it took to replace my salary as quickly as I can. And I had a very large salary to replace. And I knew, I mean, I get there as fast as the other coaches or the other people. That doesn't matter. I won't quit. So eventually I'm going to get there. And I want to encourage you to have that same mindset and to know, for those of you who follow Rachel Hollis, I don't know if any of you are doing her last 90 days, but she emailed out today. It was so good. She talked about, it took me 4 years of writing to even get someone to look at my books. It took me 5 years to hit 100,000 followers on Instagram. It took me X amount of years and she just went on and explained if this is really what you want to do and you really want to create freedom through the platform of this business, you need to think if this is it, it's all good, and just keep plugging away at it and have that mindset that I am an elite coach. I'm going to get there. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen, and you keep showing up that way. And that's all I have.
Yay. Thank you so much, Rachel.
You're so welcome.
Guys, we'll open up do you have time for a couple questions?
Oh, yeah. I love questions.
I know you said you love answering them. So if you guys have more questions, pop them in the chat right now. I took so many awesome notes. This is something that I am really focused on in my business. I love the leadership side. I love the business side of things. So recruiting is yes, I love all of this.
Okay.
My question to you is, what is one-ish good piece of advice that you give to your brand new coaches as they're just starting out and everything seems so overwhelming?
That's good. And you just mean in general or as it relates to inviting?
I guess in general for growing their business.
For growing their business. Okay. I would say the most important thing I actually do say this to my coaches. I say it to them on the GSR or the Getting Started Right call. I say it to them in my initial email to them. And it's this: the most important thing you can do in this business, it starts with you. And you've got to focus on your own journey. You've got to commit to a program and rock it out. You've got to be pumping your mind through full of personal development to get your mind right. And you need to be sharing that journey. And if you're doing those things and you're kind of getting through the content and learning, it's all good. And what I share is that for me, it took me a good 3 months to feel okay, I'm starting to get this, because it's so much information. It's learning. It's like learning a brand new language. And so if you can commit to your journey and know that it's a process, and over the course of the next 90 days, you're really going to begin to understand, you're going to be golden. And so that's the first thing that I tell new coaches is focus on your journey, show up for yourself. So your physical journey, your mental journey. And then part 2 of that is the feel the fear and do it anyway. Is that, yeah, it's scary. It is so scary. I almost threw up the first time I did a post. I'm in a professional working environment. I posted a picture of myself on social media in a bikini. That's like a really big thing. And I got hell for it at my job. People would make like little snarky comments, and it was just, and now I'm, now they're sending me their books. Like, can you give me a shout out on social media? I'm like, oh, but it's all good. Cause I'm like, it's fine. It helped me to really feel confident in what I was doing. Anyway, what I share with them is that there are going to be scary things that you're going to have to do. But here's the good news is that I'm going to be here. This team's going to be here to support you. And we've all done it and we've survived it. And this is how you are going to be able to reach your goal of whatever that why is. So I really try and help them to know that they have to take action and it's going to be scary. So part 1 of my GSR email / process is focus on your journey. And part 2 is find 2 people to join you, invite people, and or do your announcement post. Because it's really like getting them to take action as quickly as possible. That's what leaders do. Leaders have what's called a bias to action. If you want to be successful, you must act. I cannot tell you how many coaches I see show up on calls, call after call after call, or training. Stop listening to trainings. I mean, I know like trainings are great, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't, no more information in right now. Like I need to just go work. I need to do the vitals. I mean, if you're not doing that, again, you don't have a business. So yeah, so those are the 2 things. Begin to be on your journey and physically, mentally, and then feel the fear, invite and do your coming out post. I don't know what you guys call it, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm a coach. Does that help?
Definitely love that. I think like the biggest thing that I took away from this, like the main quote that stood out to like my personal thing was get good at doing the things that scare you, feel the fear, do it anyway. Because it relates to the fitness side, it relates to your life, and it relates to the business. And that's just like a huge quote for people to keep in the back of their mind.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. That quote really is meaningful to me because when you're so comfortable doing something for so long, it's scary getting into a new field, right? The nature of our business is things are going to be constantly changing because we're in a social media business. So we have to get so comfortable with always things changing. And the sooner we can kind of get used to that, the quicker it'll become our new normal. Just like going live. The first time I went live, oh my gosh, I was so scared. I remember the video was terrible and like the angle and the lighting, and now I feel pretty good. But just like anything, it just takes practice. So someone said, I'm worried my well will run dry. I won't be able to find enough girls. Well, another piece of what you want to make sure that you're doing is adding to your network. So there's a lot of ways. I don't know how you guys do that. I don't know how Rachel teaches you. So I don't want to teach you something that's not in alignment with what she does, but I'll just tell you what I do or what I did. I have only had an Instagram account. I had one, a long time ago just to follow people. I didn't really even have any friends. Like literally I had no friends, like 2 friends. And then about a year ago, I did all my business on Facebook. First 2 years, all on Facebook. So about a year ago, not even a year ago, I started to grow my Instagram account. I started at about like 700 people. And I don't know, I have probably 11 or 12,000 followers now. And here's how I grew my Instagram account. I started by doing it organically and going to hashtags or really people. I found what I call honeypot accounts. People who are like my avatar. Like I have a few fashion bloggers I follow, and those are like my jam app. Like those are my people. I love like the girl posts and like, I want to buy the whole outfit. She's like my person. She's a Christian. She's into fashion. Most people who are into fashion are usually into like appearance and like how they look, and they want to look good and be fit. So that's a good kind of market for me. So I have a few of those accounts, and I have a few people who are in different fitness communities. And those are my people. I've asked them a million times. They don't want to coach, but we have a great relationship. Those are my avatar. I go to their pictures. I find one of their transformation pictures. I add all those followers. Literally click the like and go down the list. Add, follow. I don't do the 5-3-1 thing, and I never have. So I did that for about 6 months. Then I hired someone for maybe 3 to 4 months that Holly Hillier was using to organically do that for me. And he grew my account. Then I signed up for STEM, and I've been doing that for the past few months. And I've had a great success in growth, but not really great success in quality. And so I've canceled my STEM, and I'm going to move forward and do organic growth only. So that's, and by organic growth, I mean, find those people. Who are your people? What do you like? How do you, I don't know how you guys do this. Let me show you something. Hold on. If I have all my coaches do what it, oh my gosh, that was my iPad. You're getting the real unfiltered version of me, clumsy and all. So I have all my coaches do this. This is the color wheel. Ashley Smith came up with this. And it has all the things about me that make me who I am aside from fitness. So type A, makeup, fashion, Jesus, yoga, babe maintenance. I call it babe maintenance because I like Botox, lashes. Like, I don't care. I tell people about it. I don't act like I don't do it. I think, I'm almost 40 and I don't care. I'm doing all this stuff and because it makes me feel good. And so that's just part of my brand. So I find people who are like me and I befriend them, and I go to their accounts and comment, and then I follow all their followers or people who are liking their pictures. Does that make sense? And that is how your well will not go dry. And once you follow them, then you start going to the top of your little Insta stories and you spend 15 minutes loving on the people's posts you want to draw back to your page. It won't go dry doing it that way. And one other thing, this is a really good tip. Ask those people, the people who are liking and commenting on your stuff, reach out to them and say, oh my gosh, I'm so appreciative that you're always loving my posts. What do you want to see more of from me? Ask them. I mean, you want to talk about, you get some good engagement. I usually do that like about 30 minutes before I do a post. I do the 15 minutes of Instagram stories. And I just started doing this, by the way. And my pictures have been getting, I had a picture that had over 1,000 likes. I was like flabbergasted. You guys, I used to be excited about 100 likes. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But I've been doing this thing where I go and I comment on stories, and then I ask a few people who are following me, like, what can I do to serve you guys better? Well, the last one I just posted didn't get great traction. But anyway, so hopefully that is helpful. It is hard at first after quitting. But, you know, I think, I feel like with STEM, it's great to get the number and get the swipe up, right? But I feel like you're getting so many like weirdos, like international people and men. It's just like, those are not my avatar. I want lashes. Girl, I feel you. Once you have them, you can't ever go back because then you feel naked. Oh, your favorite PD book. Oh my gosh. I have so many PD books. Of course, you know, Girl Wash Your Face is like, love it. The ones I have my coaches read are The Slight Edge, You Are a Badass, which I have listened to a million times. I love it. And then I love the 10X Rule. And then right now I'm listening to The Gifts of Imperfection, which is amazing. If you guys want leadership books, the best 2 leadership books I've read, and I've read a lot, The 5 Levels of Leadership and 21 Laws of Leadership. I'm just looking at my list here. High Performance Habits is awesome. Get Over Your Damn Self is really good for understanding network marketing. Sure thing.
Yay. I think I'll give people like literally 10 seconds to ask any other questions. But thank you so much, Rachel. Like I said, I personally took so much out of this, so I'm excited to implement some of the things, especially engaging on Instagram before posting to help boost your, that's huge. Instagram wants you to use it how it's meant to be used. So like you have to engage to get engagement.
You know, one quick point on that. My advice is you should double the amount of engagement you want to get back. So like y'all, before you post, that's the best time to do it. Go after it because you can't expect people to like and comment if you're not, like to your point, if you're not using Instagram how it was designed to be used. Use the explore page, use stories, use the polls, use live. By the way, did you know when you go live that it takes your bubble and it puts it to the front? That's huge, you guys. And you're the first person who pops up in all the bubbles. So, you know, there's just little things like that. It doesn't seem like a big thing, but again, the slight edge, right? You're consistently that face they keep seeing every time they go in there. That makes a big difference, which I was supposed to go live today and I didn't, but such is life. Can we take a picture? Do you mind?
Of course, not at all. Here, I'll take you off a spotlight so we can get the group.
I have a really, really massive screen, so my face was like that big. I'm like, wow. Am I still on there?
Yeah. Oh, your big
awesome.
face? No.
Oh, now it's you as the big face.
Oh, whoops. Well, now I'm gone.
I think you should, if you hit escape, but you may have a different kind of computer. And no worries, I know, like, I don't want to keep you guys. But I do like to memorialize when we do these awesome trainings.
Oh, I think you can just hit where it says up in like speaker view versus gallery view, if I'm big.
Oh my gosh, you're being serious?
I think.
See, and you just taught me something.
There you go.
I told you guys I'm like a little clueless when it comes to the technology. Okay, so I'm going to, I just screenshot using my Mac here. And if you guys want to take a picture, you can too. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I love connecting with you. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know.
Well, thank you, Rachel. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Go and implement the tools that you have learned today. Use them. There were some awesome nuggets. If you did not take enough notes, ask me because I took like 3 or 4 pages worth. And yeah, everybody have a great night. I'm going to jump on in the virtual workspace to work if anybody wants to come hang out after. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.